Hello, everyone. Dr. Eames here. What I'd like to talk about this time is some of the different ways that we measure global trade. So basically a few definitions here. Balance of trade first. When we talk about that, we're really talking about our imports versus our exports. And this is over generally an entire year's period. So we balance how much we've exported that year with how much we've imported, and we see if the balance is either favorable or not favorable. It's kind of similar with a trade surplus and a trade deficit. A surplus occurs in trade when the value of your exports exceeds that of the imports. And the exact happens with a trade deficit. When your imports exceed those of your exports, then you're running a deficit. In other words, your balance of trade is on the negative side, if you look at it that way. A balance of payments is similar to balance of trade, but not quite exactly the same. It's the difference between how much revenue did you receive from exports and how much money has come in and how much have you spent has gone out of the country for things that you've imported and paid money for. And there are other things that affect this flow of money. So like it says here, we get revenues that do contribute to our GDP over the course of the year and our balance of trade by visitors who come here and spend money as tourists and so forth. And then the aid we give out as a country, foreign aid. As you can tell, I have dogs and they're playing with toys right now. Um, and also how much we spend on the military and things like that, how much we actually invest in other countries. That all contributes to our balance of payments. So it is just another way with numbers and particularly money of looking at how we're doing when it comes to trade. Now, one condition that does happen that we always want to be careful about is dumping. And this is when another country dumps a lot of low-cost products into another country. Those products are so lowly priced that they can beat out all the competition. They're lower, and so they're lower to the extent where they could actually put local industries out of business. So generally, you find that dumping is really prohibited around the world. There aren't any countries that really allow this. Sometimes it happens before you can get a handle on it or know what's really going on, or there could be a very nuanced or complex sort of political situation that leads to these things, and dealing with it is not always simple. Two countries that we have penalized through the international bodies of trade before for dumping, particularly in this case steel, are China and Brazil. In both those countries, we've accused them of dumping steel products and or not steel products, but raw steel into our market at a price lower than we could produce it ourselves. And we just have a smaller infrastructure of companies now that produce steel. So dumping really did hurt our small steel industry here in the country. And countries do this for all sorts of reasons. I mean, they may have surplus products for whatever reason in their own country, or they might just want to do this as a deliberate tactic to gain a foothold in a new market. The goal really is for you to have a favorable balance of trade. That means more money flowing into your country than you are spending on imports and bringing stuff in. Okay, folks, that's all I want to talk about this time. I'll talk to you again soon.